So when it comes to wrapping up your machine, we're going to wrap up the rotary. Now this one is a slightly thicker pen. So rather than putting a full sleeve clip cord on, I will be splitting this in half, just so that I also have the ability to change the needle depth a little bit easier, because once you've got this taped up, then essentially you would have to unwrap it and change your needle depth and then re-wrap back up. I just tend to find that by cutting it in half, I get a little bit more give, especially if I want to change the stroke of the machine. So we always at the Academy use a clipcord cover. You can buy these, again, all of them are disposable. You can buy them in packs of hundreds. You can buy them probably packs of 500 if you're going to be going through a lot. These are, of course, as I mentioned, disposable. So after every client, you would get rid of this, all into the clinical waste bin. It protects your machine, obviously, from blood splatter. So your machine would have been sterilised. It would have been sprayed over as well. We tend to use Cliniceps, anything that's medical grade. Obviously, if you are using an autoclave, just be aware you cannot put your battery into the autoclave. So with this, I tend to just stretch mine a little bit because, like I say, this pen is quite a thick one, and I will pop the sleeve over. Now you can see here, this is all sealed. Now I will end up popping my cartridge through that, so I know that this is a sealed end, a sealed area. I then grab my other side and pop this over the end where I'm going to be essentially touching all of the buttons. Can be a little bit fiddly when you've got gloves on, but again, please do make sure that you do have gloves on for this, because of course if you don't, you'll have wasted all of your sterilisation. Okay, so we want to make sure that it's all fully covered. We also want to make sure that the end is covered as well. So this is where I will use tape, grip tape. For me, I will pop a bit around the middle, just where the join is, because it just means that nothing's going to get in the way and cause the bag to slip, and then of course cause cross-contamination. So the tape that we're using is tattoo tape. It's grip tape, sometimes as well known as horse tape if you have horses. So you can buy this again off any tattoo supplier. You can get it, of course, off Amazon as well. Anything that's disposable like this shouldn't be too much of an issue to get off places like Amazon or buy in bulk. Of course, when it comes to things like your inks and your machines and your cartridges, then go to a reputable tattoo supplier. And of course, you can tape as well if you want the end up, just to ensure that you haven't got anything coming through or that you're going to touch it. I myself, I don't actually tend to tape my end up, because I tend to make sure that I've got enough of the bag out here and all of my buttons are on the side, so I won't ever be touching the end of this machine. If your buttons are on here, then I would recommend that you do tape it up, or ensure that you've got enough overhang that you are not going to be accidentally touching your machine. So once we get our needle or our cartridge into the machine, you can then tape up the end of your grip. So if you are using disposable grips that you're sliding on top of your machine because you want a slightly thicker hold, if you're using one that's not disposable, you can obviously tape that up, okay, on top of an extra grip if you really do want to. I don't like anything too thick at the end of mine, but I'm just going to end up popping that in so that it's all nice and sealed, nothing can get in. Good cartridges, good machines will also prevent any backflow of ink or products, so that it should not go into the machine. So please do check, obviously, with the manufacturers. I do believe that there are only a couple of machines out there, cheaper ones and cheaper cartridges, that do still have a bit of a backflow. And usually your councils will have contacted you to ask you to avoid those particular machines. But these ones, we know, like I say, are to industry standard, they work really well. And then when we turn on the machine, we just want to make sure that our needle is fully in there. Our cartridge is not moving around or knocking, and that you can then twist and set the vibration and the voltage of your machine in order to get ready to start tattooing.